When Fallout 76 initially came out, it marked my longest layoff from Fallout 4 mod videos at roughly 4 months in time. That being kind of a big deal considering Fallout 4 mod videos are a cornerstone of my channel. Well, it happened yet again with the release of Wastelanders, so for over 2 months now, I have not been posting traditional Fallout 4 mod content, showing you some of the latest and greatest mod releases. But it does provide unique opportunities like this one where I can come back, look at almost 3 months of mod content and bring to you the best of the best. And there have been some truly awesome and epic new additions. Totally new features that mod authors brought to the game, pretty profound new fixes or ways to improve your FPS, that's going to be a major focus in this one, and just in general, really cool new mods overall that I think might get you playing Fallout 4 again. It doesn't seem like we're really going to have a ton in the way of new Bethesda content over the next couple of months, just some minor stuff for Fallout 76, so it could be a great time to start up yet another Fallout 4 playthrough. If you guys enjoy the content, you can get subscribed. I'm going to have a lot of Fallout 4 mod videos coming over the next couple of weeks, but otherwise, let's first take a look at the Ultracite power armor. So this one's actually pretty remarkable. The Ultracite power armor, as many of you may know, is actually from Fallout 76, and despite Fallout 4 and 76 sharing the same engine, and hypothetically, you could just port content from one game to the other, Bethesda's rules do not allow it. So this is a mod author's top-down recreation of that power armor in Fallout 4, and it just looks great. It's actually implemented in a really cool way where you'll have to go to the glowing sea to collect Ultracite in order to craft this power armor at a new crafting bench. And in fact, it actually also ships with several new Ultracite weapons to just sweeten the deal a bit. Although functionally those are large in part just reskins and stat changes around some of the vanilla weapons. I would say this is my favorite looking power armor from 76 outside of the custom Atomic Shop ones, but as far as free ones in the base game, it just looks cool. And I think it looks very Fallout, it fits in pretty well with Fallout 4, and technically is lore friendly. There's no reason this power armor wouldn't or couldn't exist in Fallout 4 during this time period. And overall, it's just another great one. It has several of the skins that are unique or from 76 that I'm showing you in the background. And although I'm sure many of you will recognize it from 76, if you just want a lore-friendly power armor that has an interesting way to acquire it, this is going to be one of your best options. But as fun as power armor is, one of the most fun things to do in Fallout 4 is shooting things, or even at times being shot at by cool or interesting things. And in regards to that, we do have the Cazador missile launcher, which is easily one of the coolest mods to come out over the past few months for Fallout 4. So now right off the bat, what it is a new missile launcher for this game. And an important note on that is it is integrated into the leveled list. Although Fallout 4 has a ton of pistol, SMG, and even AR mods, missile or heavy mods are pretty far and few between, so that's a good addition right off the bat. But to me, this is also one of those unique mods that actually looks way better in the first person, and just some of its first person animations really sell it. A lot of mods look cool when you can see the whole thing in third person, but not this one. I really love that first person view and perspective. But from there, it only gets better because this is really well implemented. You can customize it to have a lock-on feature as well as several different scopes and sights, but even further, using hotkeys, you can customize the type of missiles this will fire with a variety of different options to choose from. And considering you reload this one after every single shot, it actually makes a ton of sense that this would be plausible in game. Somebody could do this. And then from there, you of course can have a ton of fun firing some of those MIRV rockets in particular. The lock-on functionality makes this very valuable, although it's not overpowered. If you want some of those custom missile types, you will have to craft them and it can get expensive. But overall, it's a great new addition to the Fallout 4 modding scene overall because it really fleshes out the weapon pool in a good way. Although, there's a ton of existing weapon mods for Fallout 4. Over the past 5 years, we've just had a lot of options. So how about a mod that's going to make several of the best of those weapon mods just a lot better? As next up, we do have the quick modification weapon. This is some next level stuff when it comes to Fallout 4 modding, as simply what this will allow you to do is customize weapons on the fly with a crazy new HUD, crazy new animation, and also built-in functionality so you could just assign this to a hotkey, whichever key you want on your keyboard or mouse. So now unfortunately out of the box, this only supports a certain number of weapons. Fortunately, this is a long list and there are a lot of options out there already. Many of the most popular weapon mods are on that list, but otherwise this is a handy tool. Another one that just kind of makes sense. It allows you to edit things on the rail systems of the weapon, not some of the more fundamental features like caliber type or what kind of receiver it holds, which are all things you would plausibly be able to do. It has a very Crysis-esque HUD as you're actually editing these, but all around, it's a pretty crazy new feature. It's one of those things that just really showcases how far modding could go with Fallout 4, even all these years later. And for me, at least for the foreseeable future, it's going to be a permanent addition. It fits in very naturally, it doesn't freeze time behind you, so if you want to change your items on the fly, you're going to have to worry about the enemies. But of course, it is just very valuable, whether it be attaching a suppressor or even just changing around which scope depending on the situation. But to go along with that, we actually have several weapons that also do support this system. One of the big new ones, and a very highly customizable weapon overall, is the GIAT FAMAS. This adding in the iconic FAMAS that most likely you know from Call of Duty. I feel like that's just how things work with a lot of these modern weapons. But this FAMAS has a lot going for it. Right off the bat, it is highly customizable. Using the customization options available with this one, you can make it look quite distinctive, a more traditional FAMAS or something a bit more unique, and it has basically all of the options you would hope for in that category, including even some custom variants that you can find by exploring the Commonwealth. And although a lot of weapon mods have a lot of customization options, where I think this one also stands out is in how good the animations are on it. The animations at times are a bit more exaggerated, but I like that. There's just a sea of AR mods for Fallout 4, and as such, standing out is important, and this one definitely does. It has different animation types depending on which magazine you are using, and all around it comes together to be a very complete package, including all of the sounds available with it. And although the FAMAS itself is a great bullpup AR for you to use in Fallout 4, a great tandem piece for that is the Glock 19X, which basically mirrors the FAMAS in the level of customizability it brings into Fallout 4, and also supports quick modification weapon. And really with this one, it's just a highly customizable Glock for Fallout 4, which is kind of what you've always wanted. There are other Glock mods that do similar things, but this one just does more, and it almost does it better in a way. You have all the various attachment options as well as the color customization options to follow. You can turn this into a true, fully fledged machine pistol or something more like a high caliber silenced weapon. You can choose the ammo type with this one, and there are several trade-offs. Higher calibers at the cost of ammo capacity, or even something more like a high velocity round. And that's one of the things that this mod does pretty well. A lot of the attachments or different customization options do have pros and cons, like the different triggers you can choose. You might have a faster fire rate or even better accuracy, but it might come at the cost of something else, like AP. Not too many mods integrate into that system of Fallout 4, and I really like to see it with this one. And then of course with all of that, it does come together with custom sounds and animations to make it really a complete package, being one of the top tier choices when it comes to pistol mods in Fallout 4, especially now that you can customize it on the fly. Although outside of that, we have something that's a bit different. That with the Canary save file monitor. I don't really have much to show as far as gameplay of this mod, but it is one you're going to want to download and keep on your game. As effectively, what this mod will do is help you prevent save corruption. If you've ever experienced a corrupt save in Fallout 4, it sucks. Because you either A, are losing a ton of progress, or in some instances, especially on survival, losing so much progress you may as well just start over. What this mod will do is actually monitor several other mods for data leaks. So if it starts to detect data loss on one of your saves, as you log in, it will alert you. So you can either immediately address this or revert to an older save that doesn't have this issue and as such won't become a larger one, meaning you won't lose that save file overall because eventually you'll get this. One of the longer term goals of this mod is actually fixing this warning overall. So they are requesting save files if you do get this warning on screen, and this overall, if accomplished, could be a huge asset to the Fallout modding community because otherwise right now this is an unfixable problem. This mod will help you revert it so you can try and address it quickly or use a different save file and not get too deep into the broken one. But otherwise it's really doing a good thing for Fallout 4, and it's one of those mods that you should just download and keep in the background. Forget about it until it pops up and then you'll be happy you downloaded it. But then even outside of that, we have an update around the M2 Flamethrower Redux. This is technically a mod I covered a while ago, all the way back in 2019, and it adds in an awesome flamethrower. It's just a good mod even from day one. But just recently got a fairly large update that adds a lot to this. As you're seeing in the background, several additional and new customization options, new flamethrower attachments that go from unique to actually fairly plausible and practical in a Fallout world, many of these having different bonus effects or different effects on the flamethrower overall, and that's cool. It makes using this flamethrower against enemies just a bit more fun, but where I really love this update is in the effect it has on enemies, as it actually adds in some new enemy types specifically around the gunners, as now you will basically have gunner flamethrower troopers that spawn within the gunner's existing level list and actually at several gunner bases. This overall makes the faction just tougher because these flamethrowers are powerful and it is pretty devastating when you encounter one in combat. But for an enemy, this can be a double-edged sword because it does have an effect where if you shoot the tank on one of these flamethrowers, it will explode, making it a quick way to kill a tough enemy, but even further, potentially hurting others around him. Overall, I think this is a really cool effect for this mod, and it's cool to see mods in general get substantial updates like this almost a year after initial release, but overall it's a cool one because it's a flamethrower mod, which we don't have many of these, and it's unique for Fallout 4 mods. But even further, it is now very well integrated into the world, having several customization options that are very Fallout, as well as custom features that other mods just don't have. Although speaking of custom features, next up we do have the Juger Pistols. This adds in a new pistol mod to Fallout 4, but this one has one pretty big twist. So yeah, it's one of the first, or at least one of the first well-done dual-wield mods for Fallout 4 that I could remember. I'm like paranoid I'm offending one mod author that actually made a good dual-wielding mod, but I forgot. And even further with this one, everyone gangsta till he whips out 2 dual-wield golden pistols. Dual wields are one of those items that is actually fairly simple in Fallout 4. I know many people have always wondered, well, why don't we have more dual wielding mods? And the reason is because it's just really annoying. Functionally, you have to make 2 versions of a weapon. One that is a singular one, and then a second one that is a dual wield one. But more or less what you are doing with this mod is using a different weapon, one that happens to have 2 pistols on screen. Although overall, I really love the way this one works. You do of course have custom animations for that dual wield style, as well as you could actually aim down sights just using one while you're dual wielding. It's pretty simple in that you just convert them at a chemistry station. If you have 2 of the regular Juger pistols, you can get the dual wield variant and then you'll have that in your inventory. But at larger part is one of the most unique pistol mods out there right now just because of that one singular feature. You can dual wield it. And I like how it is a bit more than just a proof of concept. It does have its customization options. The pistol overall looks cool. Even if it wasn't dual wieldable, I feel like it'd be kind of a cool addition to Fallout 4, and just overall, if you have wanted a dual wield weapon, if you're looking for something, this is definitely an option. It definitely is fun to use in game, just whip out both and go to town. But then we actually have one of those great download and forget mods, and that's going to be the FO4 FI FPS Fix, and really just consider this one Boston FPS Fix 2.0. More or less, what this mod will do is fix several things around Fallout 4's Commonwealth to make it so you have higher FPS. A mod that had a similar concept and execution was the Boston FPS Fix. The mod author behind that one was kind of required to keep updating it due to certain updates around the game, and it ended up breaking. In its current state, it kind of works, but not totally. But the Boston FPS Fix was really focused around improving FPS in downtown Boston. This new mod does it for the entire Commonwealth, and it's a hefty download at 8 gigabytes, but it works. And as you can see in the background, you can compare to just regular Fallout 4 in downtown Boston to this mod installed. And although my FPS is still far from perfect, it's way better. A significant improvement, and I would say actually taking it from really noticeable that there's issues to fairly unnoticeable. If I didn't have FPS on screen, it would be a lot better. But again, that's just the Boston example because that's the one area where I fall below 60 FPS. But if you're on a lower end machine and you run into FPS problems, download this because unlike some of those past fixes, the Boston FPS Fix in particular, this affects much more of the Commonwealth, applying those same fixes to other areas, perhaps where you didn't have quite as low FPS, but now you'll have it even a bit higher. And actually a great mod that also just happened to come out in a similar time frame is the High FPS Physics Fix. This is a very simple one. What it'll do is make it so the physics in Fallout 4 are no longer tied to your FPS. You'll probably remember from Fallout 76 and Fallout 4 and many other Bethesda games that how fast you can move, how fast things happen in the world, the physics are tied to how high your FPS is. So if you have 120, everything will be twice as fast as compared to 60, which is just bad. This will untie those, so now you could play Fallout 4 at a higher FPS, which when you couple that with the fact that you now have a mod that will improve your FPS across the board, these two just go together great. In the past, there was no real point to having above 60 FPS in Fallout 4 because things would start acting abnormally, but now with these two mods in tandem, you could actually play Fallout 4 at high FPS, especially on a higher refresh rate monitor, and it feels great, very smooth. Obviously, I've dumped thousands of hours into this game, but using this mod was actually a fairly profound moment. I played thousands of hours of Fallout 4 at 60 FPS, despite me having a 144Hz monitor. Being able to experience it at 100 FPS was very unique, and very much so a good way. It was a profound moment for me, and I'm not sure it's really captured on video, of course, because this is a 60 FPS video, but overall, if you play on PC, definitely give these two a try. It did have a big improvement for my game. But overall, those are 10 mods that were actually pretty unique. Several of these were very new features for Fallout 4 that other mods just don't do. It is the first of their kind. And in general, I feel like all of these are top tier mods that you should definitely download. So I provided links to all of them down below in the description. Hopefully you guys found this video informative. Again, sorry for my delay with some of these Fallout 4 mod videos, but now more will be on the way. A lot of other mods I do want to cover in that time frame where I wasn't covering mods. But as always, again, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.